Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today on PoliWine, where we like to take a deep dive into stories pulled from the media and have a fun time while breaking it down. I'm Jillian, and let's get into it. First of all, I want to make a correction from last week. My apologies. I said the wrong date for the premiere of the new season of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. We've talked about it in the past several weeks, that it is on September the 16th. For some reason, I don't know why. I don't know if it was the excitement and anticipation of the new season coming up. And I've seen the trailer and the previews on Peacock. They have a long one about the trip and everything. I think I was just so excited. I confused the dates and I said it was last Thursday, and it was not. We know that our Thursday night lineup on Bravo is The Real Housewives of Orange County, followed by The Real Housewives of Miami. I don't know where we would have fit it in, but when I tell you I was ready with the popcorn and very disappointed when it didn't work out. So I'm so sorry. My apologies. I stand corrected. Again, the premiere date for the new season of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City is September the 16th. So I just wanted to get that out there, make that correction. I think I was just too excited. But now let's get into other stories. Now, I think we have to work our way over to the very sad and tragic death of political activist Charlie Kirk yesterday. Oh, God, what a chaotic and crazy scene at the campus of Utah Valley University. You know, conservative analyst Charlie Kirk travels all over the country, speaks at campuses, speaks all over, has a podcast, and, promotes debate, political debate. And yes, conservative. I may not agree with a lot of the things that he says, but I appreciate that he wants to have the conversation and wanted to get the art of debate back out there. I think that's huge. And it is our right, freedom of speech. And yesterday, as he's expressing his right for freedom of speech and expressing debate and views and opinions and having the discussion about gun violence, a shot rang out through the crowd. A bullet hit his neck and he was killed. Just a chaotic scene on the campus. People were scrambling around. His security team was what I can only presume was his security team. You see footage of them carrying him to an SUV to get him to a hospital. It was just such a chaotic scene. And I mean, at a college campus, it was not just students there, it was open to the public. So there were people there with their families, small kids, loved ones. I mean, it was just a scene of devastation. The news crews were just running around trying to get some information to give us to the public, and just trying to interview witnesses, trying to get some source of information. And it was just madness. This one girl, I heard in an interview saying, I was in line to ask a question and I heard the shot and it went up past my right side. I heard it, and such a large crowd. Thank goodness nobody else was hurt, injured, hit. It's just terrible. And this is just happening too often with this political violence. This tragic scene yesterday, Trump with the 2 attempts on him, what happened to Shapiro in Pennsylvania, the lawmakers in Minnesota. It's too much. And yesterday on the Hill, when the House was in progress, once the news broke out that he was killed, they came together, both sides, for a moment of silence and to pay their respect, and just to understand that they want to tap down this heated sense of political frustration, anger, whatever it may be. But it is just this climate right now in politics is just hot. It is very toxic, and we have got to turn back this wheel. It's too much. This man yesterday, Charlie Kirk, again, I didn't agree with a lot of the things that he said, and that's totally fine. I wanted to hear what he had to say. And because many people have similar feelings and they agree. And I think that's the one thing about debate is you get to hear all perspectives. You get to hear many sides. And that when you hear that, listen and process how other people are feeling, thinking, and reacting, you get a better understanding. And maybe and hopefully the ultimate goal is we can come together and make some change and we can move forward in a positive direction. And I think in that moment where yesterday they had that moment of silence on the House floor, they were like, okay, this is where we got to come together. And this is too far. Even though some may agree, may disagree, whatever this gentleman may have said or did, no one deserves this to happen to them. No one ever. The political violence is just gone too far. And this is not what this country is about. And I hope this is a moment that everybody can agree this is just absolutely crazy that someone lost their life just speaking their opinions. And this guy had quite the following. So this ripple effect of sadness and hurt and trauma, it is, especially for those that were there, will be felt for a very long time. Just my heart goes out in condolences to his young wife, his young children. I mean, what was it, 3 and 1? I mean, he was only 31. And what this man accomplished in his young life was quite remarkable. Just such a tragedy and so sad. And just, guys, I guess the only thing we can do is honor his memory and continue to debate peacefully, respectfully. But we all, at the end of the day, our ultimate goal is to want to live peacefully together, live happily, healthy, and to raise our families in a safe environment. I think we can all agree on that. So let's put all the hatred and the anger towards each party and each other aside, and let's come together and work together. Especially at this time of year. This is also where we mark the 24th anniversary of September the 11th. So this is time to honor and respect and just remember what we're here together for. And I don't know, hopefully we can all recognize that we all want the same goal. Okay, we all have to live with each other. So let's just be kind to each other and help each other out. Okay, but just a sad, terrible story. And it was just chaos yesterday. The news journalists trying to get the stories out, the authorities, local and FBI, trying to get some details to the public, and they're in an active investigation. And there were a lot of different reports coming out. They had a suspect in custody and somewhat of a person in interest in custody, and there were 2 people, and now they both have been released, and that's not the person of interest. And a lot of conflicting reports, and a little bit more has come out now. They do believe that it was one person acting alone, one shot from a distance. They're still trying to figure it out. But the suspect is still at large and the manhunt continues. They're pouring over a lot of video footage. I cannot imagine how much video footage there is to go through. There were a lot of people at that debate. There were a lot, thousands of people showed up. And it's just so sad to see all these young students just crying. And this one kid just summed it up. He was like, right moments before all of this, there was such a positive and happy vibe and feeling in the air. We were there for a moment. We were there to be a part of this a movement and to get our thoughts across and to ask really good questions and to have a debate. And if you can't have a debate and conversation on a college campus, I don't know where you can. This is where we go to cultivate those skills, and just everything about it is just tragic. So, and as the news journalists are trying to figure out the news, President Trump immediately comes on social media and says, please pray for Charlie Kirk. There was an accident. It seems pretty serious. And the journalists are reporting that, and very shortly after this information comes out, President Trump releases another statement stating that Charlie Kirk had died due to his injuries. And I mean, and then he released another statement, and you could feel how personal this individual, this man was to Trump himself, to his family, and to his inner circle, definitely to Vance, the vice president. This was close. This hit very, very much home for them. And even Trump's son said he was like, Charlie Kirk was like his son to him. And the way that Trump spoke so affectionately about him, I mean, you could tell that there was true hurt and sadness there. And I really have not heard Trump speak of someone so lovingly and with so much affection before. So it was something. And I think no one can eliminate just the utter shock that everyone felt when they heard the news that this man was killed for speaking, having debate. It's unfathomable. It is. So again, for his young family, his young widow, his young kids, our condolences go out to you. Just such a loss, such a loss. And where do we go from here? Where do we go from here if we can't have these conversations in college? We can't have them online without getting death threats. I mean, I saw him in an interview saying, yeah, I get death threats. So this is a previous interview. I get death threats. If you don't get death threats, you're not doing anything right. Why are you getting death threats? You should not be getting death threats. Just state in your opinion. If you don't like the opinion, turn the channel. You don't have to like it. You don't want to hear it. Turn the channel. Don't get angry, don't obsess over it, and then want to take some extreme violent action. That is never the way to go. Violence does not answer anything, does not solve anything. It just puts us in a state of panic, fear, and I think just we just kind of are stirring around because we just don't know. It's a lot to process, and there's a lot of emotions. So I hope we can all come together and move forward. This is the time to please, to the House, to the Senate, Congress, you're back in action. Let's make some legislation. Let's let our kids feel safe going to school. Let's, having debate at colleges. We want to feel safe going to malls, to stores. Let's get back to the basics here. We want to be healthy. We want to be safe. You give us these two basic things, we're going to be very happy. Okay? Let's keep it simple. Stop fighting. Stop blaming each other. This is not helping the situation. It's only making it worse. It's just fanning the flames of a major bonfire of anger. Everybody's angry. So let's just calm down. Let's take a breath and let's look at the bright sides of life. Okay. So there's that. But wow, what a day yesterday. And we're still trying to figure it all out. The manhunt is going on, but wow, a lot happening. And again, let's honor those who gave their lives on September the 11th. This is 24th anniversary. Really, really hard to believe, but let's never forget that day. Remember history, because we never want it to repeat. Now, let's get into some other news. The Hill has been busy since they came back from break. So, now we had that yesterday. We also had the whole Epstein victims speak on the Hill last week. What did we get from that? Well, representatives spoke with some of the Epstein victims, and they bipartisanly call out to let's pass the bill and release some information and documents from former investigations from the DOJ, release it so we get a bigger picture of what is going on. How big was this network? Who was involved? What was the money backing it? How large and widespread and tangled was this network? Because this went in for a very long time, this Jeffrey Epstein network. So there had to be a system that worked to prop this up and keep it going for such a long time. And there definitely had to be a lot of money backing up. So where did it come from? Who backed it? This is what we need to know. So the Epstein estate did release some documents to the House committee. They have released some of it to the press. And one of the things that was released was his 50th birthday book, Jeffrey Epstein's 50th birthday book. And who put that book together, by the way? Ghislaine Maxwell. And in this birthday book, many images. There were cards and statements and pictures and of all kinds. And look, and some of the stuff in the book, it was gross, it was vulgar, creepy, nasty. It definitely made everybody who saw the book, it made us all aware that people knew of his sexual proclivities towards young and even younger girls. There was this one picture kind of characters almost like animated and it was kind of like a half and half picture. One is of 1983, Jeffrey Epstein handing balloons to young girls. That looks like it's on a playground, but to young girls. And then on the other side of the picture, it says 2003, and these grown girls are giving him, Jeffrey Epstein, a massage and like a sun lounger. And it has like this, it looks like the island on the background with like this mansion. So somebody knew about the islands in a tropical setting there. There's an airplane, there's water. And then on the bottom it says, what a country. I'm like, what a country? Who would put that in there? What a country. That's all I kept thinking is they're either directly linked to politics or somebody from a different country going, what a country, I can do this here. I can just gross. But that book definitely, showed that it was knowledge and widely known that, he had definitely proclivities or desires for the young, and it was just gross, and it was known. And then we also have the debatable silhouette picture that is supposedly and allegedly supposed to be from Donald Trump. He denied that. He denied that that was his picture, his handwriting, that he ever did it, denied it. So these are allegations. I just want to make that clear, allegations. Although the signature, I'm not a handwriting specialist, but it looks, I mean, pretty similar. So if the White House says that they're willing to accept a handwriting specialist to come in, Let's do that. But can we pick who the handwriting specialist is? You don't handpick them. Let me handpick them because we want to know. But of course, they have denied it. Those are allegations. But and we do know that Trump and Epstein were friends for a very long time. They were very close. There's no question there. It's known. But this outline of a female with statements, and then it's, I don't know, like a poem, just phrases, sentences in this card from Jeffrey, and it just says Donald. So who is that Donald? We all want to know, I guess. But these were some of the items that were in this 50th birthday book, and some pictures of animals in precarious positions. And, it's nasty. So that was released. And I'm sure more is going to come down the pike, because this is just not going away. This story has major legs, and it keeps on trucking, no matter how far the administration tries to, kind of push this story to the side. There's nothing there. There's obviously something there. The victims have said that they will compile their own list with people that they know that was directly affected, that they were victims of, and people that they saw there, and give it to those who needed to advance this investigation, or one investigation, if not many. Because remember, there were people that were arrested, like Ghislaine Maxwell and Epstein, for sex trafficking. So this goes across state lines, sometimes international lines. So it could be multiple cases. Who knows? I don't know. So we'll see where it goes. But I tell you one thing, this story, not going away, and just getting a little bit stronger, pushing its through, because now it's on the Hill. It's there. Here we are. Not only that, we also had last week, RFK was on the Hill for questioning by the committee. He was there to speak about all the changes that are happening in the CDC. There are major concerns with these new changes with vaccines, vaccine mandates, and regulations. A lot of questions, a lot of uncertainty there. We don't really know. And there's a lot of changes happening in the CDC. And he was stating some of the changes that he's expecting to make going forward with the CDC. So, people had a lot of questions. And when I say that hearing was heated, wow, it was heated. I've seen a lot of contentious debates on the Hill, but this might be one of the most contentious I've ever seen. Both sides were pissed and going at RFK Jr. Both sides, Republicans and Democrats. They want to know, are people going to be safe? Are we going to be healthy? We have the fall and winter season coming up. This is definitely a major season for flu and COVID and pneumonia, anything else. There are stories coming out that people want to go to pharmacies and to go get a COVID shot, and they cannot now because you need to have a prescription, or some pharmacies aren't offering them, depending where you are in the US. It's chaotic, and we don't know. And there's no set rule. So that's why we were on the Hill. We want to know what's going on, what's happening, because he wants to put up a new panel to go through this whole vaccine regulations and mandates. So it's crazy. When I say both sides were going at him, both sides were going at him. And I am still shocked that RFK Jr. showed up to this hearing so unprepared. Shocking. Shocking. I mean, the man, you would think that he would have a few statistics on hand, some cliff notes, a little flashcards, something to throw out some factual information. No, he had nothing. When, Senator Warner's like, how many people, you don't know how many people died from COVID? It's kind of a number you should have known. He just wanted to be combative instead of giving direct answers. And if you cannot give me direct answers, especially when it comes to science, no vote of confidence here. I don't think he got a vote of confidence from anybody in that hearing. the other day. But at the end of the day, he did get the approval from Trump. Trump said after the whole hearing, which was a shit show, he said, I'm happy with how his performance in the hearing, and that's why I wanted him at the CDC to shake things up. Well, I can tell you, he's definitely shaking things up, but with all these changes and shaking it up in such a drastic way and quickly, what are the consequences going to be of this shakeup? What are going to be the short-term and long-term consequences of these actions? I think that's the question we all want to know, and no one got answers to. So there we are. And then, speaking of not having any answers, did you also see the other hearing that happened on the Hill with the UAPs? Yes, there was a video footage released of a glowing, fast-moving orb off the coast of Yemen, where a Reaper drone shot a Hellfire missile at it, and it bounced right off. That's not comforting. And for the military and everybody and the defense say, yeah, we don't know what it is, but we have the footage, so you should see this. Wow. What is going on? And then from flying orbs, we also have 19 drones that went down in Polish airspace. Scary time. So this is here in the US, in our political world, and on the geopolitical stage. These are some traumatic times. I don't know how any other way to describe it. These are traumatic times. So let's just all come together, okay? Let's just all come together. But busy times on Capitol Hill. Let's make a hard pivot from the world of politics over into our world of entertainment and television. And the other day on Netflix, I watched a new docuseries that just dropped, and it's called Unknown Number: High School Catfish. Did you see this docuseries? And what this docuseries is about is, in a small town in Michigan, this young girl was cyber stalked from 2020 to 2022. And when I say cyber stalked, just relentlessly, all day, every day, for several years. And the most heinous things that you could say, like about her appearance and her, how she is in her social. This girl was like 14 years old, a very influential part of her life. They're going after things that she was very self-conscious about. She was very thin, so they were going after that. They were attacking her where she was, very self-conscious, and attacking her relationship with her boyfriend and going after her boyfriend, sending text messages and stalking him, trying to break them up, telling the girl that she should kill herself. I mean, just the most hideous things that you could possibly imagine. And of course, the parents of this girl and the boyfriend were going to the school and going to the police and going to anybody they can to end this torture of their children. And I mean, it was just awful and hideous all day, every day. Thousands and thousands of messages. Like, we would change the number and they would find it. We would get a new phone and they would find it. It was just insane for these two young kids, 13, 14, and in high school, just making their high school experience miserable. And of course, like I said, the parents were involved. They were at the school trying to get the school involved. Like, who do you know it is? They suspected it could be some other students in the school. Those students got pulled into this investigation. It's not just the school that did an investigation on this bullying. The police got involved, and the FBI eventually were pulled into this investigation because it just kept going on. And when it became threatening, something has to be done. Action has to be done with professionals. So, of course, the law was involved. So this went on, like I said, from 2020 to to 2022. And oh my God. So eventually, when all these forces joined together in this investigation, they found out the source of who was stalking this girl. And they found out it was her mother. It was her mother. I remember hearing this story in the news years ago, and I'm like, oh my God, how could a mother do that to her own child? Like, there's something psychologically wrong there, something off there, in my opinion. But that's all we really knew. Not a lot of the details came out. Well, the details are out in this docuseries, and you see the text messages, and you hear from the witnesses, people that were in this situation, other students that were pulled into this drama and had nothing to do with it, and it ruined their life for a while, and even years later. Just terrible situation. And then I cannot believe that the mother of this daughter, even would want to be a part of this documentary, but she was. And to hear her justification was just, I was completely dumbfounded by it. You're just like, okay, in my opinion, there is something extremely off there. Like, the woman was given this reasoning, like, people make poor judgments all the time. Like, if you got into a car after drinking and you were driving drunk and you didn't get caught, then you broke the law, but you didn't get caught. My situation's just a little different because I got caught. And you're like, no, do you not realize you went after this girl, your daughter, young daughter, for several years, day in, day out, all day, every day. She was convicted and went to jail for it. She's now out. The woman is completely disconnected from reality, in my opinion, and she's just acting like, yeah, it happened. It's okay, whatever, life keeps moving on. And she's still texting her daughter, even though they're not supposed to have contact. Just awful. And the father of that daughter had no idea, of course. And when the cops show up and tell the father, we found out who was doing this to your child. It's your wife. And oh, by the way, did you know that she lost her 2 jobs about a year ago? And it was probably related to this, but she's not working and she's been lying to you. This father was just reeling. And I mean, you had to sympathize with the father. It was just insanity. I've never heard a story like this in my life, other than like the Gypsy Rose story, just how they, right? And I think it was, I want to say it was the high school principal, maybe, or maybe it was one of the police officers, but their theory on why the mother did this, and it's their theory, and I think it's a very good theory, is he said, I think this is like a form of like cyber Munchausen. Like, this is Munchausen by proxy in a modern form in today's new age with the internet and online and social media. Like, I think this is the new direction it could take. And I think that's a pretty good theory. Maybe he's onto something, because it had to be some form of Munchausen, I guess, because to torture your child and have her come to you upset, needing your constant comfort, love, and affection and protection, but to know that you were doing it, that's just diabolical. It's sick. It's sick. So, what an interesting watch. Like I said, unknown number, high school catfish. What a docuseries and documentary. And then I watched another documentary the other day called Spy High. And that was about mid 2000s. I think it was like 2009, 2010, where this high school outside of Philadelphia, they were one of the first schools to get laptops in the classroom. And this district of schools had this software on the computers, on laptop, where they could turn on the cameras at any time and start taking videos or screenshots and turn on the videos and recording you in your home, in your bedroom, whatever you're doing, having on the phone, having anything. It was a complete invasion of privacy. And this family took the schools to court, and it really kind of changed the privacy laws at that time. Now, interesting fact that it really kind of moved the ball forward with a lot of these privacy laws. But then again, it kind of got thrown out the window when COVID happened and we had to do school virtually and you had to come in to people's homes and the things that you could see. And so it really changed it, but it was just really interesting. So 2 very good documentaries about things that could go wrong in high school and how it went wrong in the modern day with technology. Really interesting to watch for sure. So, but that one, the Spy High, I saw that on Amazon Prime. And another series I saw that just dropped on Amazon Prime, and that is the prequel to the Terminal List, and that is the Terminal List Dark Wolf. Great cast. You have Taylor Kitsch, he's back. You also have Chris Pratt, Tom Hopper, Luke Hemsworth, just to name a few. Action packed. And when I say action packed, from the one of the first scenes on, they get right into it. Special forces, great action scene, good story. I'm enjoying it. Prime, if I can say Amazon Prime, thank you for giving me of those action series this season and the last few seasons. I'm enjoying it. So thank you, Prime, for giving me the action when I need it. And as we're talking of shows that are just dropping and documentaries, well, let's talk about some new seasons of some series that are coming up. Well, on Apple TV Plus, we have a new season of The Morning Show coming up. Reese Witherspoon, Jennifer Aniston, to name a few. That has been a really good show. Some of the stories on the previous seasons have really hit close and parallel a lot of the drama that's happened on real morning shows. So that kind of hit a little close to home, but great writing. The Morning Show new season is set to premiere on Apple TV Plus on Wednesday, September the 17th. And let's not forget, I'm going to remind everyone today, the new season of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Season premiere will be September the 16th. I'm here, I'm ready, and there are some new shows coming down the pike. With Bravo, we got SLC. We're going to have the Valley Persian style, and we're going to have the reboot of Vanderpump Rules. So let's get into it. Bravo. But that is it for us today. Please follow us on Instagram at PoliWine Time. And please listen to PoliWine wherever you get your podcast. Thank you so much for being with us today, and we'll see you soon. Talk to you next time. Bye.